In this video, I'll discuss the debates regarding landscape and portrait formats, and it's all in my book, Ellen's Guide to Design Elements, on Amazon. The horizontal rectangle is the most common and versatile format, and it's also known as the landscape format because it's frequently used in landscapes. It suggests stability and space, and it comports with our field of vision and our tendency to scan from side to side rather than up and down. We see more of the background than we do in a vertical format, providing more context to the figures. We generally read paintings from left to right, so for horizontal formats, we need strong verticals, usually on the right end of the picture, to stop the eye from leaving the painting. In this first painting, our eye travels from the lower left to the upper right, because we're confined to this space by this large dark value on the right, and also to a lesser extent by this dark value. In Van Gogh's painting, the curving movements, particularly in the sky, take us on a trip from left to right, stopping at this dark tree. Now, such blockers should be near the edge of the painting because they stop the eye, and we want the eye to see as much of the painting as possible. A vertical rectangular format is also known as the portrait format because it's commonly used in portraits. It makes a subject look tall, an alleyway look confined, or a waterfall look long and narrow. It suggests spirituality and dignity, or danger and tension if it's about to fall. The directional energy is inward and upward, like that. Since the vertical format has such powerful upward thrusts, we need horizontal elements on top to contain the eye, as I did with this foliage. For harmony in your painting, place horizontal action on a horizontal frame and vertical action on a vertical frame. If you want to disregard this advice, like these vertical lines on a horizontal frame, you still need to have one dominant direction, and the horizontal direction of this frame has a powerful effect on the overall direction. So if you have a lot of verticals here, you'll still need a few horizontals to agree with the format. Let's evaluate this picture I did of some columns in Egypt. There are a lot of vertical elements, the most important of which is the vertical frame. But there's also the man looking up and all the columns. So we need to counter that with something, and I countered it with horizontal shadows that ground the columns and give them apparent weight and solidity. I also have some diagonal shadows here and an unusual shadow right here, which we'll get to. The walkway is narrow to emphasize the columns' height and majesty, and maybe even their threatening quality. Our eye goes from the man, following his gaze up into this interesting shadow here, and then up, and at that point we see these interesting tops before we leave the painting. So instead of putting a blocker on top, I use the shape that catches the eye, these tops. But you don't want this shape on top to be so interesting that our eye immediately goes there. It has to follow a progression from the man to the shadow to the tops. The man provides scale to the columns, so how can we compare the two of them? How do we do that exactly? Well, find the vanishing point for the columns so we can identify eye level. Then choose the top and bottom of the figure and have those lines converge toward eye level. Where they cross the bottom of this column is a bracketed area here, and this represents how tall the man would be if he were standing next to this column. So if we use that as a unit and count up, we will find that this column is about 3 units tall. So if he is, let's say, 6 feet tall, then these columns are 18 feet tall. They're actually much taller than that, but I just wanted to get a comparison that we could see. This sitting camel fits into a horizontal format. I probably should have left a little more room in front of him for him to look. and his backside is almost tangent to the frame, which isn't good because it makes the camel and the frame somehow related. The bottom should be clearly separate from the frame or decisively cut off. Now these figures in the middle, we follow the curving lines upward to this person who's the focus, and then we stop on top to try to decipher the words, which aren't very obvious. I drew this picture because I thought the owner was beginning to look like the dog. And the problem with this format is it isn't clearly a vertical rectangle or a square. It's somewhere in between. So there's only a weak directional upward force due to the format. But since both the figures are vertical, the general direction is still vertical. Take a look at these first two pictures and see which one you think fits better into the frame. According to Bailey, and I agree, this second one fits better because the rectangle is better proportioned with the subject. How about these two? Which one do you think is better? Well, the end of this branch is too near the lower margin, while the second one has space to move as if blown by the wind. So the best arrangement is the one that allows just enough room in the direction in which the subject grows, develops, or moves. But sometimes too much space interferes with the harmonic design. Take a look at these two pictures and determine why this one is poor and this one is better. In the first one, the focus is placed too near the frame, so it joins the attractive power of the picture edge, making this an eye magnet. The artist would have a difficult time putting something on the other side of sufficient interest to balance that area. In the second version, the combined shape is balanced over a vertical middle, so it's much better. Elements shouldn't follow the frame like this stem, but instead appear independent of it. This portrait is well balanced with the head on top of a triangular dark shape, but not in the middle, and the negative gray shapes on both sides of her are different. Let's look at these four pictures of monks and decide which one has the best relationship with the frame, and where is the viewer in all of this. I get these books, by the way, on archive.org, which is a free site. In the first one, the monk is in the middle and the horizon is in the middle. So there's unity but little variety. In the second one, there's more space down here than up here, which is good, but the monk is still in the vertical middle. So it's better, but I think his head is too close to the top here. This one gives the most variety in terms of space in front versus space in back, and space above his head being larger than space below. The problem is that the horizon being way up here seems to have nothing to do with the monk. There's no unity. And also, it emphasizes this little space on top, which isn't good. So this one is the best because it furnishes as much variety and spacing as is consistent with unity. There's unity because the two forms connect, and there's variety because there's room in front more than room in back, and room below more than room on top. Now, where is the viewer in all of this? Look where the horizon hits the monk. So in three of these cases, this one, and this last one, the horizon hits the monk around the middle, indicating that the viewer is either sitting or kneeling. In this third one, although I scribbled all over it, the horizon is way up here and the monk is below. So this is a bird's eye view looking down at the monk. So he should actually be foreshortened with his head being larger than his feet. So remember my book, Ellen's Guide to Design Elements, where the Kindle is only $5. And please remember to subscribe.